Welcome to FinSex with Laura and Anthony. All right, let's talk phones today. We've been looking at some really interesting material about this whole brewing rivalry. You know, Google's next Pixel versus Samsung's latest Galaxy stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely heating up.
And really, what does all this potentially mean for you if you're thinking about, your next phone?
It's a good question because, well, one perspective we saw suggests Samsung's recent phone, the S25 Ultra, it was maybe just fine.
Fine, like not amazing.
Exactly. Lacking that expected innovation, maybe. And the thinking is that could open a door for Google.
Especially after what the material called their banner year in 2024.
Right, with the Pixel 9 series, that seemed to go down pretty well.
Yeah, the reports mentioned that refined design and the improved software experience. And crucially, it seemed like they finally sorted out some of those old problems like overheating and battery life.
Yeah, those were nagging issues for a while. So Google's got some momentum.
Okay, so with that momentum, what did the analysis suggest about the Pixel 10? Can it really challenge Samsung at the high end?
Well, the material points to a few key areas. The first big one, the chip performance.
The tensor chip debate never ends.
No, it doesn't. And look, the material acknowledges people asking if Google should just go back to Snapdragon.
Right.
But the argument presented is that Google actually has a, quote, coherent direction with Tensor now. Their focus, it seems, is really on the overall user experience and software.
They did call the Pixel 9 Pro XL silky smooth, didn't they?
They did,
Yep.
which sounds great for general use. But, and this is a big but according to the analysis,
Okay.
performance still seems to fall short compared to Samsung in one key area.
Gaming.
Gaming. Yeah. Now, maybe not everyone buys a flagship just for gaming, but the material basically says, look, for that flagship price tag, this difference is a glaring deficiency.
Fair point.
Yeah.
You expect the best across the board at that price.
Exactly, whatever you use it for.
So is this where the Pixel 10 could, make a leap? We saw those rumors mentioned, right, about the Tensor G5.
Yeah, that's the potential game changer. The rumors about, what, 15% better GPU performance?
15%? That's pretty significant.
It could be, yeah. If it's true, it might mean, smooth frames at high graphics settings in AAA titles.
Okay, that could definitely make that performance gap feel, less noticeable, as the source put it.
Precisely. That seems to be the hope.
Though it's funny, we saw that listener comment saying, phones weren't really made for games originally.
Yeah, a bit of a purist take, maybe.
But then someone else just wished for Snapdragon level speed anyway, kind of reinforcing that expectation,
Yeah.
if you pay top dollar.
It really shows the split, doesn't it? Expectations are high.
Definitely. Okay, so performance is one thing. What else did the sources focus on?
The other huge battleground, AI.
Right, the AI wars. And the material wasn't exactly kind to Samsung's current Galaxy AI, was it?
No, it really didn't pull punches there. The general feeling seemed to be that the current implementation leaves much to be desired.
What were the specific complaints?
Things like cross-app actions, needing routine double-checking, having to really carefully parse prompts sometimes, the now brief feature being called plagued by wasted potential.
Oof, sounds frustrating.
Yeah, the overall vibe was that nothing felt truly generative or, smooth yet.
Okay, so how does Google look in comparison, according to this analysis?
Well, the feeling is Google has been a step ahead with AI for a while. They're seen as having a more coherent vision, something they've apparently been building towards for years.
Right, so the Pixel 10, this is Google's chance to really show off.
That's what the material suggests. A fantastic opportunity to deliver more intuitive, more helpful AI, probably through improved Google Gemini performance.
And maybe linking that better with stuff Pixels already do well, like Now Playing.
Exactly. Creating a generally more pleasant AI experience. That seems to be the goal.
But there's always a but, isn't there? What about the counterpoint?
Yeah, some listeners pointed out, and the analysis acknowledges, that other flagships already offer identical AI features. So is AI really a unique Pixel selling point anymore?
Good question. Is the AI lead big enough if the performance isn't quite there and the price isn't, significantly lower?
Which brings us neatly to the third big point, the price.
Yes, the all-important price tag. The material really hammered this home.
It did. There was definite disappointment mentioned when the Pixel 9 prices went up. It closed that gap with Samsung, even if it was still a bit less.
So what's the verdict for the Pixel 10 pricing, according to the sources?
Pretty blunt, actually. Google can't raise its prices again, period.
Really? That's strong.
Yeah, they called it a potential mistake that would make a Pixel really hard to justify if it started costing, say, $1,300 or $1,400.
That makes sense. The value argument has always been part of the Pixel appeal, hasn't it?
Exactly. The thinking is Google has kind of avoided harsher critique because they kept that healthy price gap. Users are apparently more forgiving of, performance quirks if the price is decently less.
And we saw listener comments agreeing too, like, definitely don't raise the price again.
Yep, strong consensus there.
So, okay, summing up, Samsung's S25 Ultra, being maybe a bit uninspiring, creates this opportunity for Google.
That's the narrative, yeah. Some analysis even suggested Google could specifically try and lure disgruntled Samsung users, especially with reports of some S24 Ultra owners looking around because of, software update delays.
Interesting angle. Oh, and before we get to the final thought, we had to mention a couple of those other listener comments.
Right.
The one about Samsung's innovation history, from the curved screen, which is gone now, to wild speculation about cylindrical screens,
Cylindrical screens, wow.
and someone joking about separating a foldable phone into portable chopsticks.
Okay, now that's creative.
Right. And then there was another point someone made, that Google sometimes has great ideas, but maybe plays it a bit safe instead of going all out.
That's a recurring theme, yeah. It feels like the pieces are there for Google. The Pixel 9 momentum, the potential G5 chip, Gemini AI, but execution is everything.
Especially bridging that gaming gap and, crucially, nailing the price.
Absolutely critical.
Okay, so wrapping all that analysis up, here's something for you, the listener, to think about. If the Pixel 10 does come out, and it offers genuinely better AI, noticeably improved gaming, but that price tag creeps up really close to Samsung's top phone, how do you weigh that? Are those improvements enough? Is Google software and AI enough to sway you if the price difference isn't that significant anymore?
It's definitely the big question for the next upgrade cycle, isn't it?
It really is. Stay tuned for more updates, but don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.